Talk about hard acts to follow. Way to go, Beth Pierce. You are doing the job. You really are. You know, I had an opportunity to say a few things about how smooth things are going in the House of Representatives. And then introduce a really good friend of Bernie and mine and of the American people, Raul Grijalva from Tucson, Arizona. And Raul, I just want to say thank you for coming north. He gets a little nervous when there's no saguaro cactus around. He's adjusting. You know, I've just been listening to the wonderful remarks that so many people have made. And it's so wonderful to be here with the honorees and the incredible work you did, John Hooper, we served together. And I heard Richard Cassidy, some of us were at the service for Phil today. And Richard, where are you? Those were such wonderful remarks. And several people have talked about what an extraordinary talent, political talent, what an extraordinary man Phil Hoff was. So I want to add to that. But what I heard in that eulogy that you gave, Richard, it was a narrative of a thread of Vermont life in politics before Phil was governor. The people before him, Larry, Letty, folks who were fighting against impossible odds to bring Vermont into the 20th century. And Phil built on that. As extraordinary and as talented as he was, he could not have been Phil Hoff without the efforts of the Laros and the Brannons from St. Albans. And then you saw Phil had those extraordinary 6 years as governor. He stayed involved in politics. And a lot of people, like Patrick, who got to start thanks to Phil Hoff, carried on. And people in this room, like Ann and like Don Hooper, carried that tradition on. And what it said to me as I sat there, because these are dark times in Washington, there's just no question about it, is that all of us are part of this thread in Vermont that is so essential to a texture of democracy where people believe in facing problems, not denying them, in making an effort rather than pulling the covers over their head, in recognizing the absolute essential of democratic participation, that this is about solidarity with each other, and it's about solidarity with a culture that we have in Vermont, and each and every one of us has a significant responsibility to decide whether we're going to be a person who helps sustain that. And you look at what's happened in Vermont, that eulogy you gave, Richard, that just showed from people before Phil to people after, to now Bernie and Patrick. It's really quite extraordinary. And that's what this evening, to me, is about. It's recognizing the importance of solidarity, because it's what gets us through times when it's not clear what the outcome is going to be. You know, Bernie, you made a good point. We'd like to think there's a blue wave, but those don't happen automatically. Common sense gun safety legislation doesn't happen automatically. You know, we had this near tragedy down in Fairhaven. It was right after Parkland. And if you remember, what happened was after Parkland, we weren't going to do anything because the gun laws were fine. Down in Fairhaven, it was literally a near miss, and that rocked the governor, it rocked all of Vermont. And I went down to a 2-hour meeting down there, and it was extraordinary because the police there, the superintendent there, the chief of police of like a 4-person department there, were Vermonters who got the information. And unlike what happened in Florida, within 30 minutes, they had eyes on this person who was saying in his diaries and then said to them directly that his goal was the highest casualty count of any shooting in a school. They dealt with it. But at this meeting, it was extraordinary. The parents, which I thought were going to give congratulations to these officials for a job well done, were actually kind of tough on them. And I realized what it was. It wasn't that they were tough on them, it's that they had lost that sense of total confidence that they're entitled to have, that when they put their child on the school bus or drop them off at school, he or she is safe. They had lost that. That changed the position of the governor. But you know, here's what is so important for us to remember. So important for us to remember. The reason Vermont was able to act is because people were working on this plan for years before the moment arrived. And Ann Braden didn't know when this moment was going to arrive to make the work that she was doing possibly pass. So you have to work in the darkness without any guarantee of what that outcome will be. But what we know in this room is that effort matters. We know that collective effort matters. And we know that enduring values matter. The rule of law, the freedom of the press, civility and treating people with decency, whether you agree with them or you don't. That matters. You don't know when the opportunity will be for you to seize doing the right thing, getting a majority in Congress, getting important legislation passed like gun safety legislation, but it won't happen if you don't keep at it every single day. Every single day. And I'm telling you, we're going to change in Washington because this fraudulent populism of President Trump, people are catching up with. And this is just the one thing I'm going to talk about. Bernie, you and I were with some of our colleagues talking about prescription drugs that we've been working on forever. Well, you know, Elijah Cummings and I got invited to the White House in March of last year. And the president told us he was for Bernie's proposals. He thought we should be able to import drugs from Canada because he knew they were safe. And he thought we should negotiate prices so that we don't pay retail when we're buying wholesale. He gets it. And he understood how politically that really would work for him. And yesterday, he went up and repudiated everything he said in his campaign and everything he said to me and Elijah and everything he promised that he would do. And what that means is that drug executive who in the past 10 years, this is what he made, $631 million. That's okay. Pharma prices went up. That's a fraudulent populism, and it's going to catch up to it. It's going to catch up to it. But we have to be ready, and it's not just bashing Trump. That's easy to do. Patrick said it, Bernie said it, everyone here said it. We have to be ready like Ann Braden was ready. We have to be ready like Bernie's been ready with all the foundation you laid in your campaign. And Democrats have to be out in every district, everywhere. We have to be advocating for things that are going to make a difference to everyday people in this country. And we've heard the list of what they are. But fundamentally, it's a renewal of confidence in ourselves, in our own ability to have a government that takes seriously the challenges that everyday people face. The wonder about politics is that it takes a confidence, almost against experience, that your efforts can make a difference and that you can change the world to a better place that it will be. And we're seeing that, and this is where I get my inspiration, by leaders revitalizing the city of Burlington, or John Holler, who's just finishing up a term where he did so much for Montpelier, or where I see farmer groups trying to help folks deal with the incredible pain those farmers are seeing every month when they get their milk check, and it doesn't cover what the expenses are. Effort matters. Solidarity matters. Sustained commitment matters. And that is what will keep us together. It's what will make our lives richer. And it will make this country stronger. And I want to say now, as I talk about my friend Raul Grijalva, you were one of the first people I met, Raul, him and Barney Frank, and together this is not well known about Raul, but he's Nancy Pelosi's clothing advisor. He's taken over from Barney Frank. But Raul is a Democrat's Democrat. You know, he started out on the school board. And that's rough. My wife, Margaret, had the hardest job in Vermont politics, serving as the chair of a bi-state school board. And you served in the legislature, now on Public Utility Commission. And what I understand, the job you shared with Raul, that's real work. And you did it for years, and you did it well. And then you did the Board of Supervisors. All nitty-gritty work. And he did it in a tough place. Tucson wasn't hospitable to brown people for a lot of the time. And he had to win. He had to endure rejection. He had in-your-face progressive politics, where he was insisting that educational opportunity cover the poor parts of Tucson, not just the well-to-do parts of Tucson. He's become one of the leaders in Congress, the head of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, 76 members, something that I'm in and Bernie was in before me. And he is now the ranking member of the Natural Resources Committee. And if we do the work that we all know we're going to do, he's going to be the chairman of the Natural Resources Committee. And I think under his jurisdiction, we will not be putting national park lands into oil production. Right, Raul?